A very, very good evening and a warm welcome to Two Full Tossers, brought to you this week by Heath Streak Sports Betting, Zimbabwe's premier sports betting space, where I'm joined, as always, with a smile on his face and a skip in his step this week after last week's sadness at no longer being able to not watch the IPL, with a beaming Allan Committie, to whom I say a very good evening.
And a very good evening to you, Daniel Nicholl. This is tremendous. Yep, it's been another week without IPL. I've spent most of the week just with a holding slide of the IPL being cancelled on both my laptop, my desktop, my TV screen. I've got it on my fridge as a magnet, and I take delight in not watching the IPL not happening. What a pleasure.
It is indeed. There is, of course, much discussion as to when it might restart and where it might restart. And you didn't hear the rumors about Lesotho from us. They definitely came from somebody else. There is not too much happening in the cricket world, but we will talk about that not too much in just a moment. Two things, though, to get you going with. One is we have got, by some distance, the most famous South African cricketer ever to play for England, from the 8,217 who have played for England, having been born in South Africa. And this guy's coming up on the show just a little later. I think you can guess who I mean when I say he's the most famous, flamboyant, top-order batsman, slightly controversial. I think you can work out who we mean. So that's coming up. And then, of course, the other highlight of the show every week is Allan's Lost Legend. We reveal who it is a little later on, but right now we give you a guess to try and work out who it is. Allan Committie, preview for us, if you will. Goodness gracious me.
Look at that face. Look at that beautiful visage. He wants to smile, but he can't quite. Who is that? Do you know? Perhaps you could type it in with your slightly podgy fingers into the chat bar if you know who this is. This is of the same vintage as our guest later. I suspect he'll have played with him, and we'll rather reveal who our lost legend is. He's no Lee Barnard. I can say that. If you haven't worked it out, it's not Lee Barnard. Who is it, do you think?
Well, whoever it is appears to now be working as a flight attendant on Kalula.com, but I don't know who it is. I'm intrigued, and we shall find out with Allan just a little later. Right, some cricket. Question for you, Allan Committie.
Go on.
9 wickets out of 10, which is, I think, 80%, were taken in a single innings by Simon Harmer. 11 wickets out of 20 taken in a match, which is 71%, by Kyle Abbott. Two ostracized South Africans of their own volition. They decided to go and go and live in Fulham or Putney or wherever it is South Africans live at the moment, and play their cricket over in the UK. Brexit's changed all of that. Should we welcome them back into the South African fold, Allan Committie?
Well, I think currently we have all the players who've ever played for us either retired or moved on or chosen a Colpack contract. All of them are in brilliant form. So quite honestly, let's bring them all back, send 3 teams over to West Indies, and then out of all of that lot, just choose AB de Villiers and send one person off to the T20 World Cup. That seems the obvious thing. Hashim Amla, I think, just scored a double ton, didn't he? Let's bring him back. Faf du Plessis is in good form out of the IPL. Let's bring him back. Let's bring Imran Tahir back. I think the guest we're about to introduce, I mean, he didn't play for South Africa, but why can't he? He was born here.
It was indeed. He's been retired for long enough, so I think we could bring him back. Love to see him back. Well, in our new role, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but in our new role on the CSA independent board, I think this will be something that
it hasn't been confirmed. Is that right?
It hasn't been confirmed, but I suspect it's a formality. Why wouldn't they want us running South African cricket? I shall look forward to that. I also look forward to getting very nice comments. And I've got one from Mike Radcliffe. Nice tie, Dan Nicholl, says Mike Radcliffe. I think that's the first comment of a sartorially appreciative nature we've ever received on Two Full Tossers.
What's wrong with Mike Radcliffe? He's obviously not got signal.
Or his spell check is horrendous. Okay, so there's that. Then there was a test match, Zimbabwe playing Pakistan. Didn't last very long. That's the only test match at the moment, to be followed I think it's next week after, England versus New Zealand. So slim pickings on the international cricket front.
Yes, it is a little bit quiet at the moment, but we're looking forward, I guess, to the fast approaching South Africa-West Indies clash. That'll be very exciting. And who will be picked and where will they go and what will that result in? And I know we've slipped down to, I think, number 37 in the top 8 cricket nations of the world. So this might be an opportunity to slightly crawl our way back to something
just between Peru, who've got a young but improving attack, and Belgium, who've always been one of the finer Western European sides, in my opinion.
Excellent. So, yes, slim pickings at the moment. I need some cricket in my life, and quite honestly, just staring at the IPL screenshot is not doing it for me anymore. But I'm so glad we have you, that we can at least chat cricket things every week. Well, we should talk about Australia, who might once again put themselves in hot water, because Bancroft has now said the bowlers did know, like we didn't know they didn't know, but he's actually said what we all thought. And now, because he's half said it, although he didn't, but he should have, Cricket Australia are saying, well, maybe we should reopen, or we won't, but we could, but we mustn't. So that's all. Clarity is what's important there, I think.
You can almost imagine the conversation. Mate, this is an English paper, isn't it? Yes, that goes in English. Oh, yeah, that's all right. That's fine then. Yeah, if it's an English paper, I can say anything. Not a problem. The internet has arrived in Sydney. They have found out Cameron Bancroft. And I think, what was that great Simon Pegg movie, How to Lose Friends and Alienate People?
Exactly.
I think Cameron Bancroft has pulled it off.
And in the same interview, he went on to say he's looking forward to playing for Cricket Australia again. He hopes to have another opportunity. He hasn't really thought things through so much. Not the bright member in the Australian side. And that's saying something.
Oh dear. On the subject, so Australia versus New Zealand. Now that is always a great battle of two small countries. I think they're the same place, really. And I know we can see it accentuated their place in the world in that the Australian IPL players have all spent 3 weeks quarantining in the Maldives, while currently the New Zealand team are currently quarantining in the same hotel room in Southampton. So the Kiwis get a 3-star city lodge in Southampton, and the Australians get an entire island in the Maldives.
And to be fair, the cricket team from New Zealand is really the population of New Zealand. So the fact that they've managed to fit them all into one hotel room is, I mean, they could have done, probably didn't need the whole room, to be fair.
Almost a bit of space. All right, we've got a very special guest on the show tonight. I'm extremely excited to have the single most famous South African ever to play for England. We've got him in a moment. Before we do that, let's find out who this week's Allan's Lost Legend is.
So you might have guessed it. I don't know yet what you've typed into the little chat bar, but this week's Lost Legend, although no Lee Barnard, turns out to be the fearsome left-arm tearaway fast bowler for Western Province, Stephen Jeffries. Right. There he is. Let's take a lovely picture of him here. Look at this fantastic bowling action. Look at that follow-through. That's magnificent. The wonderful hair. Of course, famous for many feats at Newlands and, of course, around the country in the 80s, right through to the early 90s. I remember him taking 10 for 59 against Orange Free State back in, I think it was 1986. And there he is, a lost legend indeed, a formidable opening partner to Garth LaRue. And if you ever had the chance to see the two of them in action, you certainly knew you were in the presence of cricketing greats. He's no Lee Barnard, but he is this week's lost legend.
Oh, what a I'd still pick him. I would still pick him. There's no reason not to. The eagle-eyed Mike Radcliffe, a classic no ball, says Mike of that picture. Not sure they bothered with those when Stephen Jeffries played cricket. And Natasha Doll, how do you not confuse yourself, Alan? Well, he does. That's half of the joy. Yes, great accent, Dan. Thank you, Natasha. Good on you. All right, let's go over. Now, he is I had a poster of him up on my bedroom wall. My father had a poster of him up in his bedroom wall, and his father had a poster of him up on his bedroom wall, such as the longevity of this wonderful, wonderful cricketer. He is South Africa's greatest ever cricketing export to England. Please welcome, for the very first time on two full tossers, that flamboyant top order batsman with just a hint of controversy. It is Allan Lamb.
Oh, there he is. That's a legend.
Oh,
Good
Allan
evening,
Lamb,
boys.
good evening. What a delight to have you on the show. Where do we find you, Mr. Lamb?
Well, at home, as one is coming out of lockdown. Tonight was the first night we could have gone to eat in a hotel, 6 people, but unfortunately, we'll save that for later on in the week.
Oh dear. Well, look, welcome to you. Lovely to have you on the show, and lovely to welcome you onto to Two Full Tossers, which I've got no doubt you watch every week religiously. Tell us about the Allan Lamb cricket story at the moment. Are you still involved in cricket? Still watching a lot of cricket? Still doing anything in the cricket sphere?
No, Dan, I follow the game still, and we not involved in it, but I take a good interest in what's happening with the game. As you said, the IPL was great to watch while it lasted. Some people say it's not the game for them, but I just think it's just improved cricket all round, really. I mean, people are playing such incredible innings, and you have a look at these young Indians coming through are just incredible. I mean, how they're not even playing for India yet, and they've got a vast bag of young cricketers coming through, which is really good for the game. But I wanted to go back to that missing legend, Stephen Jeffries, the beauty we called him. Now, let me tell you, he could bowl. He could bowl, and he was fantastic. And I think he would have played. That is him playing for Hampshire against Derbyshire. It could be one of the finals that he won. And he was a brilliant bowler. Would have played, plenty times for South Africa, and he could swing the ball. And I remember he got 10 wickets. I think you mentioned Al against the Orange Free State. I was not out on the other side. I think I ended up getting 34. I said to Beauty, you'd never get me out, buddy. And he tried all, but I said, you can't get me out if I'm on the other side of the strike, the non-striker. I said, you'll never get me out.
You had some great times with Free State. You scored your highest ever score for that province, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We did when Ali decided to change the rules around and have 3 overseas players, and in the Hallard Insurance new sponsorship Curry Cup, in those days. And well, I think we nearly bankrupt Hallard's Insurance. I think Ali said to him, it only cost you about 100,000. They were in for $250,000 in the first game.
Wonderful memories. One in particular I'd love you to share with us, Allan. I think it was a tour of Australia where, under the leadership of David Gower, who had a certain laissez-faire approach to everything in life, including his style of leadership, there was a champagne sponsorship negotiated, which helped to oil the machine that was the England cricket team on that particular tour.
Yes, and that machine at the start of that series, we were lambasted, and it's probably right. We were sort of told by the one journo that we were the worst team ever to leave the British shores. We couldn't bat, bowl, or field, but he was right, because we had lost to the Cane Cutters up at Bundaberg. We lost to the Cane Cutters 11, and then went down to Western Australia, lost to the Crayfish Factory 11 there. Then went to Kalgoorlie, we lost to the Mining 11 there. And then we arrived in Brisbane, and we always have these meetings like on a Friday night before the test match starts and that. And in all my life, I never had one meeting to discuss how the opposition were going to bowl or who was playing or anything like that. Gower and Botham just made sure they had the best champagne and the best wine, and we talked a load of bullshit, and that was it. And so that was our meetings. And anyway, Both again got up sort of right at the end of the meeting. He said, right, guys, the main game starts now. We're going to take these Aussies. And I'm looking at him, Jesus, none of us have scored a run. And here's Beatty saying, yeah, we're going to take the Aussies. Well, we hadn't found our openers yet, so we had Bill Athy and Broad open the batting. They hadn't been opening, but well, they were swapping around to see who was going to open. Anyway, we put them in. Broad went and got 100. Athy got 50. Gower came in 3, got 70. I got a couple, 2, and then both of them ended up getting 100. So we beat the Aussies in Brisbane. So that made a massive sort of mark, because if you beat the Aussies in Brisbane, you've got a good chance of winning the Ashes. And we went on to win the Ashes. But that also, David Gower negotiated this Bollinger champagne. He loved Bollinger, and he organized a deal. And it was clever, the Aussie guy, the agent there. He said, for every test match you lose, we'll give you Bollinger RD. And for every one you win, we'll just give you the Bollinger Brut. And this is what I said. Listen, typical Aussie. Anyway, wherever we went, there was Bollinger. There was more Bollinger floating around on the plane, and when we arrived in the hotel reception, than our gear. So you can imagine, Peter May must have sort of, what is happening to these guys? But anyway, we managed to win in the end. We won everything that year, 86, 87.
Well, it clearly worked. Champagne is obviously a secret weapon when it comes to playing cricket, with one exception. Maybe there was a lack of champagne on the eve of 2 World Cup finals, Lammy.
Yeah, I mean that probably was. I just think that we got ourselves in such good positions in both those World Cup finals, and I think. The one in Australia, in India, we should have won that when Gat came in and had a reverse lap to Allan Border. I mean, I don't know what was he. I think he was probably getting angry. He needed to go off and have a curry or something. But and then the one in Melbourne against Pakistan, and that was. We got right on top, and then they got a bit of a partnership. Then I think they got 230 or whatever, which isn't massive, but it was easy to sort of chase it down. And we were going quite well. I was sort of batting with I think Fairbrother, and he just started getting on top of them. And then Wasim Akram came in and had that over and changed the game. He got 2 wickets in it, and that was game, set, and match basically. So. There are 2 finals that I don't like to think about, but so
we won't bring it up then.
No, don't bring it
up. You of course you've got that Cape Town history. Where does Allan Lamb sit for you, Allan Committie? When on one hand, great cricketer, absolute legend of the game, fabulous batsman, but on the other hand, he did go to Wynberg Boys High.
Well, that's right, which is the second best Southern Suburbs school, with starting with a W. I myself, as an Old Westfordian, look across at Wynberg and marvel at their wonderful education system. But also probably the greatest cricketer to come out of there, even though there is the Jacques Cullis Memorial Stadiums, the Jacques Cullis Memorial Library, the Jacques Cullis Memorial School Hall, the Jacques Cullis Memorial Driveway and parking lot, everything Jacques Cullis. It used to be Allan Lamb. The Allan Lamb Memorial, and now nothing, just Jacques Cullis.
Yeah, and let me tell you, he's done unbelievable. What a player! But I remember sort of him when he was at Wynberg. We were playing, and we went and had a game at Wynberg, and Jacques came in, bowled me a couple of bounces, and I walked out and said, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" And he bowled me another one. I think I hooked it for 6. I said, "That's it now. Stop bowling bounces. Do you understand?" And you could see then he could play. It was brilliant, and he broke all my records that I had. And I think the other guy, what's his name, the one-day player, he broke a lot of Jacques' records. Played a lot of one-day. He plays here for Northants now. Played quite a few games in the 2020.
We'll dig up his name. We'll get
I'll probably come up
to go searching for
it. I think he also broke a lot of records of Jacques. But no, the college was a good school. I enjoyed playing against Westerford because it used to be over by lunchtime. We used to start at 11, bowl them out for 13, and then we used to nip down to the pub.
I can't believe it lasted to lunchtime. I don't remember any game ever getting to lunchtime.
No, but we only started at 11. We pushed you in quickly, you know. I think you had Stephen Jones. You remember Stephen Jones? He used to play for Westford. But no, you know, if you think about those school days and the cricket, it's so intense. I mean, it was really everyone, you know, wanted to win. It was played really hard. And then when you go into the Currie Cup and you get in and playing for Western Province in those days of the apartheid and that, it was like playing a test match. And people used to say, wow, you know, playing a test match. I think from me playing Currie Cup cricket and playing it hard with the Rices, the Proctors and the Richards, and Van der Biles and all these guys. Listen, I was ready because they took no prisoners at all. You know, if you didn't survive, that was it. You just got walked over. So when I came into playing Test cricket for England, it wasn't a big surprise to me. I think I worked it out fairly quickly, and so you know, I think the breeding and what I had in South Africa was absolutely great for me.
You mentioned Watson earlier, two splendid deliveries when he got you and Chris Lewis in that same over. Was he the best bowler you ever faced, or was there somebody else who was even better than Watson?
Well, I think he was the best left arm I ever played against. You know, not taking anything away from Bruce Reid, but you didn't get that, okay? No, I think out of them all, I think Malcolm Marshall was the finest. You know, we had 22 Test matches, you know, against him, and he was something special.
Not the first time I've heard that. So who was the greatest cricketer you played against, Allan Committie?
Well, as you know, Dan, and this is just a nice segue for you to remind me that I caught out Herschel Gibbs at mid-wicket when he had scored, I think, 167 off about 14 deliveries. Although I'd like to remind you that I came running probably over about 70 or 80 meters and took a diving right-handed catch. In fact, what happened is the ball came straight at me, bounced off my elbow, hit my chin, and fell into my hand. Either which way, the scoreboard and scorebooks don't reflect the brilliance of the catch. All that we do know is that I played with, alongside, against, and I would have to say came out on top.
There we go. The great cricket careers of the two Allans being showcased this evening. Do you ever watch the IPL, Lammy, with just a tinge of regret, thinking that you too could own an island in the Caribbean and a collection of Italian sports cars with a few seasons for the Deccan Night Stars or the Rajasthan Monarchs or one of these others?
I may have been able to afford to come into your wine cellar because they tell me your wine cellar is very good, Dan. I mean, but you know, I think I never regret because I never had the chance. And I always think, I think I would have really got on with it. I think I would have played it well, and I would have got used to it. It was one of the games that I always used to, in a one-day game, we always used to wait. If I was batting second and we were chasing the runs, we used to wait till the last 20 overs and then have a look where to go, you know. So I always said, you know, you can easily chase down 8 an over in those days, in 20 overs, you know, that was it. You know, you used to look. Now, Jesus, they're chasing 10 and 12 and over, you know, it's incredible. But I just think it's fantastic to watch. It's brought the game on, the standard of fielding and batting it. I think it's a shame that just the poor bowlers, I mean, they are just getting absolutely murdered. For a bowler to come out and, you know, bowl 4 overs for 20, I mean, that is incredible spell. I mean, you know, normally they start off and the guy's gone for 12 in his first over. So, but no, I enjoy it. You know, it's not Test cricket, and I think a lot of people who are playing IPL, I think, just don't get the the fact of test. They just don't handle the way the test matches go. But you should be able to, if you're good enough, I think, for the IPL, like Kohli and Williamson. Look at Williamson. He plays, I mean, unbelievable. Kohli, Williamson, the two best bats in the world. I mean, they play it with ease.
Missing Dean Elgar from that conversation, but
Dean, I think he just holds up the one end there. That'll be fine.
Yeah, but we don't see that enough in T20 cricket. We don't see a batsman holding up his end, just playing out a spell, taking you through to the next session.
Yes.
It's a lost art.
An IPL side with Terence Lazard, Lawrence Seath, Greg Shippard in at 3.
Nicholl, Mike Anderson.
I must tell you one. Yeah, you just mentioned Terence Lazard. Well, we played. Western Province played Orange Free State. I was playing for Orange Free State in 87, 88. 88 when I came over, I didn't get selected for the England team, and Mike Proctor got me over to come and play for Orange Free State. It wasn't one I was, thinking, God, don't stay in Bloemfontein. I mean, that wasn't it. I said, long as I didn't have to remain in Bloemfontein, I'll come. So, but this game we played, and we had Sylvester Clark, and we had Donald, and we had Corrie van Zyl. So it wasn't a bad bowling lineup. And old Terence Lazard came into to bat with his cap on. And I had a look at this. And anyway, Allan wasn't really running in, he just was. Anyway, I sort of shouted at AD. I said, AD, I said, Lazard thinks you've lost it. You can't bowl. You're just bowling powder puffs. Anyway, he started signaling. He said, no, I didn't say a word. Anyway, the next ball just caught him on the top of his cap. Just with the badge of the Western Province Protean zoomed and took his cap off. And he signaled for his helmet and said, listen, I didn't say anything. So you ask Lazard when you see him. He loves that story. He always tries to deny it.
Oh dear. Look, on that note, a couple of quick comments coming in. Louisa Thart, so interesting to learn about cricketers from before I was born. Thanks for a great show. Natasha Dole, saying, well done for staying at home, Allan. We are grateful on the front line. Drinking at home is highly recommended, though. I don't think Lammy needs any encouragement on that particular front whatsoever. Neil Carter, who played county cricket for about 70 years. I was there to see the Tenfer at Newlands many years ago. So there we are. Adding to our list of T20 cricketers, Gary van Lockerenberg suggesting Robbie Armitage join that particular list as well.
That's like watching paint dry.
I don't think it's that exciting, to be honest. Great suggestion there, Gary van Lockerenberg. Listen, we've got two things we still need to do, Lammy. We have one last special guest who'll be joining you in just a moment, and I think, Allan, are you picking him up and arranging to join us? All right, well, you go and grab our last guest, and while that happens, we've got a little cricket quiz. Well, it's not really a cricket quiz; it's a quiz for you. I can tell you. Darren Goff got 4 out of 5. JP Dermody got 1 out of 5. So that's kind of the scale that you're looking at in terms of success. 5 questions. Are you ready for our 2 full tossers big quiz, Mr. Lamb?
Yes, fire away.
All right. So it's all linked, as you are one of them, to famous South Africans abroad. And we start with the great Charlize Theron. She won an Oscar as Best Actress for this movie. I'd like to know if you can tell me what the movie was, Allan Lamb.
Yes. Oh my God. She's not looking too good in that, but no, I know it. No, pass.
Pass. All right. The movie's Monster, where she got that Academy. All right. 0 from 1. Not unusual for Wynberg. Question number 2. Which British team has Bafana Bafana star Bongani Zungu just won a league title with?
Leicester.
No. It would be this season. It's actually Rangers. Rangers have just won the Scottish League over the weekend. Stephen Gerrard's team. All right, 0 from 2. Question 3. Now, you should get this one because you're very much a foodie. Who is the South African chef in this photo who has a Michelin-starred restaurant in Nice?
Oh, yes. Jan. I've been to it. God, Jan. Krug. He's related to Jean-Ray Kruger.
All right, we'll give you half a point so far. Okay. All right, half a point for getting half of his name and giving us a completely obscure piece of trivia. It's Jan Hendrik van der Vesten.
Jan Hendrik, that's it. Yes.
All right.
Lovely restaurant. Lovely restaurant.
It is indeed. I've eaten there a couple of times. It's a great spot. Quest, so you are half out of 3 so far. Question 4. Let's go back to your alma mater. Which Wynberg old boy is currently coaching the United States rugby team?
There's one. There's old boy coaching the United.
I suspect this will be one you'll kick yourself for if you don't get it. Tick, tick, tick.
Oh, no. I've done well to get half a point. Give it to me. Who is it?
Gary Gold.
Oh.
All right, here's your last opportunity to beat JP Dermany's mark of 1. You're on half out of 4, which is the lowest mark in the history of the quiz to date, and you take it up to 1.5. And well, I think you've already referenced him, but can you remember his name? Who is the Wynberg Boys High old boy in this picture?
That's him. That's the guy. That's the guy we were talking about.
It is indeed.
That's right.
Which is why I didn't give you his name earlier on.
I thought not. Oh God, he plays here for Northants in the one days.
He does indeed.
He's put a bit of poundage on. God, what's his name?
Hits a cricket ball a very long way.
Yeah, he does. Does hit it a long way. His name, oh my goodness.
Not to put any pressure on you here, Lammy, but you're about to get both Wynberg old boys questions wrong.
Wrong. Oh, God, what's his name? God. It looks like I've just had a blank.
1. Well, I'll tell you what, you might not have got it, but Neil Carter got it right in the comments a little earlier on. It is Richard Levy.
Yes, Richard Levy. Wow.
So there we
go. You got it. Someone's got to beat that. Half a point. My goodness.
Half a point out of 5, a new record. Oh dear. All right. Well,
quiz game's definitely not my strongest point.
All right. Well, look, I can see there's a tear welling up in your eye. So to put a smile back on your face, this is a real treat for you here, Allan Lamb. You have had many years in the public limelight. You're idolized by cricket fans right around the world. But here we turn the tables and instead introduce you to a proper big name celebrity and superstar. And I know you're going to be very excited about this, to take you through to almost the end of our chat on Two Full Tosses. It gives me an enormous amount of pleasure to welcome back onto the show the Deputy Life President of the Griqualand North Scorers and Umpires Association. It's Meneer Johan van der Walt.
Baie dankie. It's a groot eer. It's a great honoration to be. Don't laugh for me, Popo. Listen, this is Allan, Meneer Lamb. This is a great honor for me. And you know, I was so excitable when I heard it were you, because I even have a snore like you used to have back in the day. And even my hair, beautifully done. This is the Lamb Honorarium hair. It looks like Rian Kruijwagen's hair. And now look at you. You've now cut your snore off. What the bloody hell, man? Football.
That snore had to go.
No, man. It was a sign of your masculinity. Look, sir, but this is a great honor. And I will net for you say, you know, I won't talk Afrikaans. I shall Angles for you. I will talk Angles with you. But you know, you were so good against the West Indies. Do you think that was because you was now grown up on a South African hard cricket wickets? Was it because of your natural aggression? What was your secret? What was your secret? What were your secret?
Well, I think growing up and playing against quick bowlers here in South Africa, that was definitely one of them. And the other thing is about watching the ball. I think, when you play against any bowler, you've got to watch the ball. But when you play against the West Indies, you try to keep still and you watch the ball. You watch that.
If you're not wearing a protector, then you're going to watch your ball very, very carefully.
Correct. And what happens? So many people get hit because they've got a helmet or whatever. More people get hit now than they did when they didn't have helmets.
That's right, because they're not watching the bloody ball yesterday. Now you're talking about secrets of the cricket. All right, Meneer Kyk now, we're going to give you quick 10 questions that are quick, so you mustn't think. As playing for England, you'll be used to this. You don't think now, you're just going to give me the answers. Okay, as jy gereed, are you ready? Here we go. For you, Southern Suburbs, Bishops or Rondebosch?
Rondebosch.
Yes, that's a mooi vraag. That's a very good answer. For you, greatest all-rounder, Cullis or Botham? Ooh.
Cullis has got a better record, but to win the games, Botham.
Oh, this is controversial, Bliksem. For you, scoring 150 not out or taking 6 for 18?
I think getting 150 not out.
That's the right answer. Well done. Facing Malcolm Marshall or Dennis Lilly?
They were both great competitors. Both of them. I'd probably like to play against Dennis.
Very good. Lamb chops of roast lamb?
Lamb chops.
Dis a mooi antwoord. A West Indies bouncer or a Pakistani Yorker?
Ooh, probably a West Indies bouncer, I think.
At least you keep your wicket that way. Okay, if you had to get in a fight, and I'm not advocating for this. Don't get in a fight. But if you had to, do you want to fight Kepler Wessels or Merv Hughes?
No, Merv Hughes easy. Not Kepler Wessels.
Kepler Wessels. Ooh, I saw for your blocks. Okay, yeah. Who's better, Jimmy Anderson or Dale Steyn?
I think, you got to look at Jimmy Anderson's record. Unbelievable. So, Jimmy Anderson.
Okay. All right. That's fine. No, you can also have wrong answers. That's fine. All right. You're obviously lamb. For you, curry or rice? Curry or rice?
I like curry and rice.
That's the thing. You're always good in India. Very nice. And finally, meneer, now luister mooi, because this is very interesting. We're coming up. It's just a couple of months away. The British and Irish Lions or the 3 times world rugby champions?
British Irish Lions.
Right. I'm getting this. Something's going on because I'm not getting a clear signal. I'll just give you a chance to say the answer again. It's just who?
Listen, South Africa are going to struggle because they haven't played any rugby. British Irish Lions will beat them.
Okay. Ek moet nou loop. I'm going to have to.
Okay, baie dankie.
Ja, baie dankie. It's a groot honoration. Hey, very nice. You keep going. Football. I like for you. Ek moet nou loop. Totsiens.
Totsiens.
There we go. Germany and Meneer Johan van der Walt. A very special interview. How good is the Afrikaans? Have you kept it going, Lammy?
Yeah, I still understand it. The boys, you still speak. I know a lot of Afrikaans English guys. So, no, I understand it. I haven't picked up the cause. As you probably know, my cause is not very good on when we have to call out those names at the dimension data. Dan, you know that quite well.
It is a linguistic challenge you have there. What about South Africa? Would it be top of the list of places to come back to once travel restrictions are eased and you can get back to what I know you love doing so much these days?
Yeah, Dan, South Africa's got so much going for it. And, everyone, had someone over yesterday and we were talking, they're desperate to come over for a safari and go to the winelands and all this type of stuff. And I think it's got so much offering, and we just hope that eventually everything will open up, because my business is taking people to other countries. and South Africa is one. We're just about to start a food and wine tours to South Africa when the old lockdown came last March. So hopefully we'll be able to revamp that and bring people over to taste the fine wine and food in South Africa.
We look forward to that. Final question for Mr. Lamb, Mr. Committie?
I guess just in terms of, you were part of, as you were saying earlier, and I just love it. That's when I started watching cricket, the kind of intensity of provincial cricket in South Africa. What is your kind of big memories, or give us one or two of best batting memories of back in the 80s and 90s, playing against, for example, the Mean Machine? Or
well, I mean, Graham played for Eastern Province, but I mean, if we didn't get Graham out, in 15, if he got to 10 or 15 and we hadn't got him out, we were gone. He used to just stand there and just absolutely take us apart. You knew he never got 110. It was like 150, 180. They were big daddy hundreds, and then the other one, you had Barry Richards. And I mean, Barry just absolutely milked you. I mean, it was just, you didn't know where he was getting the runs from, but next minute he's got 100. And then, you had those fine bowlers, Proctor, I mean, running in, and Rice and Van der Bijl and all these. So, and you had to survive against these guys. There was nothing. They took no prisoners. You had to get in and sort of get stuck in. But I think what made me go to England is all the guys used to jump on the Union Jack from Cape Town and Union Castle, I think it was. And then they used to go over and play county cricket. So to that, I was always keen to go. Then we had two overseas players that came up, David Steele and George Sharp. And I always said to them, I want to go over. And they said, no, you'll never get in. There's no place. You've got to be an international player to go and play here. And I was lucky because, the Kerry Packer tournament was on, and they banned Vishen Bedi and Mushtaq Mohammed from Northampton, and that's how I got a chance to go. So I was unheard, never played Test cricket, but they said they took a bit of a gamble with me, which paid off, I think.
Paid off for you, paid off for Northampton, paid off for cricket fans. And although we would have loved to have seen you play for South Africa, it was still a treat watching you play. And we'll even forgive that dreadful English accent you now have, Lammy, for all of the.
We'll never lose that English accent.
Oh dear. Allan Lamb, an absolute delight to catch up with you as always. Have a fabulous week. Enjoy your wine lunch with Mr. Sherwood and Mr. Delalio on Thursday.
Oh.
And we look forward to some wine in person when you finally do get back out of South Africa.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Al. Lovely chatting to you guys.
You too. Cheers, man.
Allan Lamb, what an absolute legend.
That is truly one of our iconic guests we've had, and indeed an iconic international player. Just brilliant. I'm surprised he didn't mention Lee Barnard in that pantheon of great provincial things, but I suspect it just slipped his mind, because for me, Lee Barnard would have been ahead of Pollock and Richards. But again, these are things, these are small details. We can get that rectified in the edit for next week.
We'll get back to him for an update. In fact, maybe we'll even have Lee Barnard on the show.
Why haven't we yet? You keep promising.
We are building up to it, Allan Committie. We're building up to it. Lovely speaking to you tonight, Allan. I believe your show's sold out again this weekend.
It is indeed, sir, but we have extended the run now right through to the 19th of June at Theatre on the Bay. You can book through CompuTicket. We're doing just Fridays and Saturdays. We've added a matinee on the 29th, a 5 o'clock show for the slightly more mature folk who'd like to come out in the afternoon. And yeah, lots of fun and laughter. And Joburg, watch out, because we'll be announcing dates in the second half of the year.
Cannot wait. There we go. That has been Two Full Tosses, brought to you this week by Heath Streak Sports Betting, Zimbabwe's #1 sports betting agency. I will look forward to seeing you again next week, when maybe we'll have Kevin Peterson. Who knows? Have a great evening, great week. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.